In this video, we are going to look at how to calculate the relative formula mass mR of a substance. There is no straightforward equation to calculate the relative formula mass, but there is one big rule that we can follow. To calculate the relative formula mass mR, we need to add up the relative atomic masses AR of all the atoms in a substance's formula. So let us look at an example. Calculate the relative formula mass of water, H2O. To calculate the relative formula mass, we need to look at the formula, H2O, and especially also at the coefficients that we have. So we start with mR equals 2 times the relative atomic mass of hydrogen, because we have 2 atoms of hydrogen here, plus the relative atomic mass of oxygen. There's no coefficient, and that means we only have 1 oxygen atom. Now we need to look up the relative atomic masses for hydrogen and oxygen. You do find those in the periodic table along with the atomic number. So the relative atomic mass for hydrogen is 1 and the relative atomic mass for oxygen is 16. Now that we have those numbers, we just need to plug them into our equation above. So we get 2 times 1 for the 2 hydrogen atoms plus 16 for the oxygen atom, and this gives us a relative formula mass for water of 18. Now let us look at a second example. Calculate the relative formula mass of sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Again, we have to look at the formula and especially at the coefficients here. Now what you can do is pause the video, grab a piece of paper and have a go at calculating the relative formula mass for sulfuric acid yourself. In sulfuric acid we have the coefficients 2 and 4 and we only have 1 sulfur atom. So we have 2 times the relative atomic mass of hydrogen, because we have 2 hydrogen atoms. We only have 1 sulfur atom, so we only have the relative atomic mass of sulfur once. And then we have 4 oxygen atoms, so we get 4 times the relative atomic mass of oxygen. Now again we need to look up those relative atomic masses in the periodic table. So the relative atomic mass for hydrogen is 1, the relative atomic mass for sulfur is 32, and the relative atomic mass for oxygen is 16. Now again we can just take those numbers and plug them into our equation at the top. So we get 2 times 1 for hydrogen, plus 32 for the 1 sulfur atom, plus 4 times 16 for the 4 oxygen atoms. This gives us 2 plus 32 plus 64, which gives us a relative formula mass of sulfuric acid of 98.